We really need to talk about something important: youth anxiety. It's this quiet crisis, you know? It's happening in our homes, in our schools, everywhere, really. And the scale of it? It's just staggering. So let's break down what's actually going on here. To really wrap our heads around this, let's just start with one single powerful number: 50%. That's right, half. Half of all lifetime mental health issues, they start by the age of 14. Think about that for a second. This isn't some adult problem that just has roots in childhood. No, for millions of kids, it is the childhood problem. And, that reality, it just forces us to ask a really big question. In a world that's supposedly more connected than it's ever been, why is a whole generation feeling so anxious?
All right, to even begin to answer that, we've got to understand just how big this issue is. And let me be clear, this isn't just about a few kids getting stressed out before a big test. We are talking about a full-blown, widespread crisis. And it has become unbelievably common. I mean, the data shows that roughly 1 in every 5 teenagers, 1 in 5, is dealing with anxiety that's serious enough to mess with their daily lives. Just picture that. In any given classroom, that means there are probably several students who are really, really struggling.
Okay, so if this is happening to so many young people, the next logical question is, why? What's fueling all of this? Let's dive into some of the unique pressures this generation is up against.
What the research is really pointing to is, well, it's like a perfect storm of modern-day stressors. You've got the 24/7 pressure cooker of social media and peer comparison. Then there's the insane academic pressure to succeed. On top of that, the collective trauma from the COVID-19 pandemic. And if that's not enough, there's this heavy awareness of huge global worries like climate change. Any one of those would be a lot to handle, right? And let's just zoom in on one of those for a second: the pandemic. Its impact was, well, it was huge. It was like pouring gasoline on a fire. It was a massive accelerant. Just look at these numbers. A staggering 31% jump in clinically diagnosed anxiety in young people between 2017 and 2021. And yeah, you guessed it, most of that spike happened right during the pandemic. So, knowing the causes is a huge piece of the puzzle, for sure. But, actually recognizing anxiety in a young person, that can be really tricky. It doesn't always look like what we see in the movies, like panic attacks or obvious worrying. So, let's get practical and break down the real-world warning signs we should all be watching for. A lot of the time, the body is what sends up the first flare. Anxiety can show up physically. We're talking about frequent headaches, stomach aches that don't seem to have a cause, or just this deep, unexplained exhaustion. It's basically the mind's stress making itself known in the body. Then you have the behavioral changes, how they act. You might see a kid who used to love school suddenly fighting you every morning not to go, or a teenager who was super social just pulls away from their friends entirely. And it's so easy to write this stuff off as, oh, it's just a phase. But a lot of the time, these are really clear signals that something bigger is going on. And then, of course, you've got the emotional signs. And look, this is way more than just typical teenage moodiness. We're talking about a worry that's persistent, that's excessive, or being irritable and restless all the time, trouble concentrating. It's like their internal alarm system is just stuck in the on position 24/7. Okay, I know. Looking at all this, it can feel pretty overwhelming, pretty bleak. But this is where the story takes a turn, and it's a really important one, because there is so much hope here. There are proven, effective ways to help. Right at the top of the list for treatment is something called cognitive behavioral therapy, or you'll hear it called CBT. And there's a reason it's considered the gold standard. It's not just about talking through feelings. It's super practical. It's all about teaching kids actual, tangible skills to challenge those anxious thoughts and, in turn, change their behaviors. So, the big question, does it actually work? Oh, yeah, absolutely. The data here is incredibly encouraging. Get this, about 60% of kids who go through a full course of CBT show a major recovery from their anxiety. That's a huge majority. It means they're learning the tools they need to actually get better. So what does it look like in practice? It's really a 3-step process. Step 1, you learn to spot and recognize those anxious thoughts when they pop up. Step 2, you build a whole new toolbox of coping skills, things like reading exercises or new ways of thinking. And then step 3, and this is a big one, with a therapist's support, you gradually, gently start to face the things you're afraid of. It literally helps retrain the brain.
And hey, CBT isn't the only tool in the shed. There are other really powerful, evidence-based approaches too. Things like mindfulness practices can be amazing for helping kids regulate their emotions. And family therapy can be a game changer because it gets everyone at home on the same page, working as a team to support the child. So, understanding the problem and knowing that there are solutions, that's a massive first step. But here's the thing. This isn't an issue just for doctors and therapists to solve. It's a community challenge. It takes all of us. So let's talk about what we can actually do to make a real difference. It really boils down to 4 key things. First, we have to talk about this stuff openly to crush the stigma that still surrounds it. Second, we can advocate, use our voices for better services, more funding for mental health in schools. Third, we can educate ourselves and the people around us on what those warning signs actually look like. And finally, we can help the young people in our lives build up their own resilience and coping skills day by day. The World Health Organization really nailed it with this quote. Investing in mental health means investing in people, communities, and economies. It's just such a powerful reminder that this isn't some side issue. It is a core, fundamental investment in the future of our entire society. Because at the end of the day, understanding all of this is great, but it's just the first step. Action is what really truly matters. So I want to leave you with a question to think about. What is one tangible thing? I don't care if it's big or small. What is one thing you can do this week to support the mental health of a young person in your life or in your community?